Hello everybody and welcome to RWBY Ice Queendom episode 9? Episode 9 of RWBY Ice Queendom. In the previous episode, RWBY finally felt the consequences of being stung by the thorn, by the nightmare thorn. First of all, she let go of that relic that seems to be the key to repelling the nightmare, to repelling the grim. Then she herself succumbed to a nightmare. And this is very interesting. This is very interesting because is it a dream within a dream? Or is it that RWBY woke up out of Weiss's nightmare only to fall into her own? Either of those, or rather both of those possibilities, have their own unique set of implications, and I wonder which one is it and what are we gonna do with it, because with both you can do some very interesting things. If it's a RWBY that fell into sleep in like real world, then the only people left to possibly save her are the rest of Team JNPR. Team JNPR sans Jean. And would they be able to? Right? That's the question. If she fell into a dream, into the nightmare, inside of Weiss's nightmare, what implications does that have? Do they have to save RWBY first before they save Weiss? Or perhaps by saving Weiss, they also save RWBY? Or do they have to wake RWBY up? Or maybe Weiss herself is going to have to fight against the nightmare within the nightmare? Any sorts of thing is possible. There are countless possibilities of where they can take either of those eventualities. So I'm very much looking forward to that. Also, one more thing that's on one hand kinda annoying by now, but on the other gives you something to think about, gives you a reason to worry, gives you a reason to fear, because it's like the third attempt they made at saving Weiss, and for the third time it's been foiled. So it's annoying because it just repeats and repeats and repeats and repeats, right? Oh, we're almost there. Oh no, something happened. We're almost there. Oh no, we're almost there. Oh no, and there's only so many times you can go through that before it becomes just tedious, honestly. But on the other, it's cool that, or should I say it's cool? It's interesting that they aren't letting the creators of the show aren't letting Weiss be saved that easily. One part of it is, of course, that they have to somehow stretch it to 12 episodes, apparently. The other is that usually, in situations like this, when a member of the team needs saving, they get saved either on the first try or second try at most, right? They try once, fail, meet an oracle or I don't know, some old dude in the middle of the desert or whatever. They get a power spike, they get a new form of their weapon, they get a third eye and blue hair, and they glow now, or whatever happens, and then they go to save them again, and this time they succeed. RWBY Ice Queendom breaks out of that mold, breaks out of that trope, because it's the third time they attempted saving Weiss, and it's the third time they failed. Each time they came here with a new idea, a new plan. This time it's gonna work, for sure. This time we're gonna do it. We have a plan, we know what to do. Each time they turned out to be full of shit. Or rather, okay, that's a little bit too harsh. Or rather, each time Weiss and her nightmare turned out to simply be stronger. That's just it, honestly. It's not that their attempts at saving Weiss were incompetent. It's just Weiss and her nightmare are so horribly strong that saving Weiss rather, seems a borderline impossible task. Especially now that everything seems to be corrupted with the nightmare, and Weiss herself is heading towards the crystal coffin with the poisoned apple, and the relic inside has been crushed by the tentacles. Is there any relic left untouched? I don't know. Maybe there is. Maybe there isn't. There's like four members of each team, so four relics, I'm assuming. The red one was destroyed. The yellow one was destroyed. The white one that was inside of the coffin was destroyed. All that's left is what? The black one? Blake's relic, in other words? Perhaps it's inside of the house that Yang and Blake were expelled to. Because they were expelled to a mansion of sorts where all the people who aren't allowed in the city have to inhabit, which makes me think it might be full of Faunus. It might be full of perhaps clones of Blake. Perhaps, I don't know, soon the other Faunus that we've met. And maybe the final relic, their last chance, is there, and it's gonna be all down to Yang and Blake to save Weiss. Or maybe Ruby herself is gonna wake up out of her own dream, out of her own nightmare, which is perfectly plausible, and she's gonna be the one to save Weiss. Anything can happen. Honestly, like genuinely anything. So how about we see what actually will happen? Shall we? Here's your subs, you're gonna need them to follow along. Here's my sound, I'm gonna need it to hear things. And here's me asking for your support on Patreon, thrown monetarily if you want. You can get early access to no seasons, you can get a role on Discord, stuff like that. On or non-monetarily, share my content, spread the word. Share my content really goes a long way to helping the channel grow. So thank you if you share my stuff. That really does help. Okay, I'm gonna take a sip of matcha. First time I'm having homemade matcha, basically. And we can start watching episode 9 of RWBY Ice Queendom in 3, 2, 1, go. Hello, Weiss. Hello, Ruby. Is this Ruby's nightmare? Thorns everywhere, so it is a nightmare, but whose? Yeah, we've seen this scene. Okay, so we're talking on like not a meta level, but we're talking about the Weiss's nightmare inside of Ruby's nightmare. That doesn't feel like a nightmare, though. That feels like the true Weiss talking to Ruby inside of Ruby's nightmare. The instant mood change. Hmm? That feels like a bad advice. I'm listening. Now she has her crystal coffin. She does like bunk bed. Okay, so it is the true Weiss that somehow slipped into RWBY's nightmare. So it is a nightmare within a nightmare then. Okay, that was an interesting scene. Throughout the weekend, that's one of the reasons why this episode of RWBY is late. I was at a local convention. It was like Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 3 days straight. Tiring, but fulfilling. It was the first time I tried matcha. There was a stall with matcha, and I remembered that I have a can of matcha in the cupboard. And I gotta say, it's not as good as that from the stall. Serviceable though. Probably should have made it just a little bit stronger. Maybe some lemon. Maybe, I don't know. I'm gonna make it work. Eventually, I'm gonna make it work. I'm gonna perfect the recipe. If you're interested in the photos from the con, some of them that I took, and then I also posted 2 links of like professional photographs that were taking photos there. They're on the Discord, so you can join it here in the link or in the description. It was cool. I spent the time really, really fun, in a really fun way. Again, tiring, but fun. She clearly is not. Does he not see the thorns? And what's the deal with the sword? Wake, 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 wake. But it ain't gonna work. Yeah, dream inside a dream. Okay, so her semblance somehow allows people to escape. Huh? Oh, because he's reaching for the sword. Okay, what's the deal with the sword then? And just like that. Just like that, she woke up. Disappeared. Okay, so we still have just a little more time. Does he have a semblance? Yeah, he never manifested it. Okay, so kinda anticlimactic that Ruby's nightmare was kinda inconsequential in the grand scheme of things. I mean, okay, she got to talk to the true Weiss, so that's good. But I honestly thought it's gonna be just a little bit more of a plot point. Then I too can go to sleep. That's the song that Pyrrha was singing in the cage. I know that it's originally like Vice's song from the main series. Another you is behind the mirror. Tiny vices. Okay, I thought for a moment that someone's gonna stop it, but maybe not. Maybe she's gonna be a sleeping beauty and someone's gonna have to wake her up. Jean with a kiss? Maybe. He's the archetype of a knight, so entirely possible. Blake for the shipping fuel? Why not? The train, some businessmen, some Faunus. Oh, the bunk bed. Bunk bed is not allowed. Hmm. Last relic? Last relic. Black relic. The man with two souls. And the whole place will start falling apart now. I guess they never watched Indiana Jones. Whenever you take a relic away, something always happens. Zombies? Yeah. Based on Vice's mind. Okay, so this kind of thinking goes both ways then. True. What can you do though? Yeah. I mean, you were trying to take Negavai's head on like 3 times already. Hmm. Do tell. Thorns, shadows, dead city. Nobody's moving around. What reason though? Hmm. Oh, overgrown with thorns, so they can't even use the doors, even if they wanted to. Everybody's frozen, everybody's asleep, essentially. She already has fallen asleep, that's the thing. Then do that before you start acting. Something with the sword? Something with the sword. Hmm? Yeah. I guess? Hmm. Maybe not. Yeah. Yeah, they didn't have a precise direction. Even the clocks have fallen asleep. Or not. Something's moving, something's unfreezing. The casket looked empty, just with thorns inside, and now she's stepping out of it. Okay. I guess it's not time for you to go to sleep quite yet. The thorns are receding before the tracks. Oh, uh, very PS1 era, right? Yeah, it's an armored train. Not gonna be that easy destroying it. Oh, tiny little versions of Vice's weapon. That's cool. Tiny Vices are tiny, so of course they're gonna have tiny weapons. That's cool. And here comes a Nega Vice, and you're fucked. Or how is it going to go any differently than the last 3 times? Again with the judgment. Indeed. So what are you gonna do? Ah, the sword. The sword is the key. Somehow, isn't it? How exactly is it the key, though? I mean, it's the key to keeping the train safe, but why exactly? Cliffhanger? Oh no, we still have a minute or two. Hmm. Okay, that's new. The dream is falling apart. Blake and Yang? Blake and Yang, that's the manor. And the Faunus. The zombie Faunus. Yeah, why? Well, why? How? That's the better question here. Oh? Did Blake, like, embrace it? So to speak? Embraced her, like, Faunusness and White Fangness? She used to have, like, one ear in the bow and the other ear free. This looked like both of her ears were free. There's the mask. Her hands and feet looked more pole-like. What's the plan here, though? Like, sure, the Faunus, the White Fang, can take care of the robots, maybe even of the Robo Daddy. Their arrival somehow, for some reason, made the Thorns pull back away from the train. But how exactly is Blake hoping to win against Negavice? That's one bit I'm not getting. Like, they fought Negavice, like, what? Fourth time. This episode marks the fourth time they fought and fucking lost. How is this time gonna be different? Mirror of Darkness. Oh, that's a cool art. Yeah, Blake in her mask. And a different weapon, too. Her, like, Kama dagger guns were all black. This is black with a tinge of red. Interesting. Interesting. How about we go through this episode again? Shall we? Yes, we shall. Stupid question. Yeah, it is a dream within a dream, and for some reason, because it is a dream within a dream, RWBY can speak to the real Weiss. Don't know how that works. I don't think it's gonna be explained, but apparently that's how it works. That's where you can get away with things that I can't. You can move through the castle walls and the city freely. Apparently. I've never met anyone else lonelier than myself. Is Weiss implying here that RWBY is lonelier than her? Like, sure, RWBY lost her mother, but she has a father, she has a sister, she has a dog. It's hard to call RWBY lonelier than Weiss. Like, Weiss doesn't even have friends per se. She has a butler that she likes. That's it. I don't know. Lock them away carefully. I don't know how good of an advice that is. Barrel is actually on the other side. Everything has its reason. Apparently. I don't know, maybe in the next episode, the barrel being on the other side is gonna prove to be useful or something. I've no clue. It hides in the shadow of the person you're facing. What hides in the shadow? The grim? The nightmare? And again, the sword. The sword is somehow able to break RWBY out of her nightmare. It somehow repels the grim, the nightmare. I have no clue what's the deal with the sword. Like, it was a weapon given to Jean out of nowhere because Weiss's image of Jean is that he has a big sword. And it seems to be the key to solving everything, but why? Like, Weiss doesn't particularly like Jean, she doesn't like particularly respect him. So weird. Jean's aura is growing stronger out of nowhere. Like, I thought that maybe he's gonna grab the sword and he's gonna prove worthy of wielding it, like Thor and Mjolnir or something like that. But no, he's not even touching it, and yet his aura grows. I guess. And the sword can break the nightmare. I guess. Cool. I mean, we at least have another like thing to fight the nightmare with. We have the relics and we have the sword that Jean cannot wield. I don't know. I don't know what the deal with the sword is. The last coin disappeared for some reason. Like, Ruby didn't use it. She didn't use a door to get out of her nightmare. She didn't. She didn't use it. Period. It just disappeared. I don't know. It just disappeared. What kind of power does his semblance have? Yeah, he doesn't have a semblance. Not yet. Is he gonna awaken his semblance in the dream? And if so, what does it do with the main series progression? Right? If it seems like this series is like could be placed somewhere in the middle of like the first season of RWBY of the base series, then does it like explain how did Jean get his semblance, or is it like completely straying away, never to like converge with the main canon? Or is Jean not gonna get a semblance in the dream, or is his semblance gonna be active only in the dream? I don't know. And yeah, everyone's fallen asleep. So now we sing a song and we go to sleep as well. Why won't you let me hide from me? As she sings, as she absorbs everybody. I'm the loneliest of all. She absorbed child vices, she absorbed vice proper. There's only nega vice. And she wants to go to sleep in a casket. Because. Like I know that she's based on like Sleeping Beauty, right? The poison apple, the crystal casket, all that jazz, but doesn't make much sense to me, or rather, I don't understand why she would want to go to sleep, why she would want everything to go to sleep, and including herself. Is it like a escape mechanism, right? Kind of a the kind of a wish where you're tired with life, tired with everything, tired with responsibilities, tired with job, tired with school, and you just want to like fall asleep, not die, right? Like dying is a little too much, but you would like to go into permanent sleep that maybe one day you would like to wake out of. Not die. Dying is a little too going too far. I don't hate life itself, I just hate life as it is right now, so I want to go to sleep. Is that what it is? That's like the only thing I can come up with. What's inside? The train isn't allowed into the city, and yet it did make it into the city. The White Fang aren't allowed. Some businessmen aren't allowed. This thing on the right, it looks like it might be Blake's weapon. I don't know. There's a White Fang mask on the left. That also isn't allowed. Someone's calling me. Too bad. Some books apparently aren't allowed in the city either. Maybe child stories. She sees it as childish things. I don't know. Bunk bed isn't allowed. That's interesting. Because Weiss always wanted a bunk bed, didn't she? And yet, it's not allowed in the city. Hmm. The Man with Two Souls. The duality of Weiss? Weiss proper and nega Weiss? I don't know. Or maybe it's about Blake? That she's both a teammate and a friend, and she's a Faunus and former White Fang. They take the relic away, and of course things go to shit just a little bit. Well, not really, because again, as she says, Blake is here, so the White Fang isn't gonna attack them because Blake is one of the White Fang in Nega Weiss's mind, at least. This is cool. I like it. It's not just a very clear cut of Weiss is bad and she believes that all Faunus are the same. It goes both ways. Blake, yeah, right. It's not just Weiss is bad and believes all Faunus are the same, and Blake is good and she sees each person individually. No, Blake was the same as Weiss. She saw all of the Schnee family, all of the people attacking White Fang, as the same, as targets to fight, to defeat, to kill. I like it. I like that it's not clear cut of Weiss good, Blake no, Weiss bad, Blake good. Both of them are on the grayscale. At least where, because both of them are slowly but surely getting rid of their preconceptions. And that's cool. That's great. Both of them are going through character growth. Not just Weiss. Blake needs character growth as well, and she's given it. Yeah, we can't exactly rush in. 3 times didn't work, so 4th time is probably gonna be the exact same. But apparently there might be another way. Yeah, we can apparently I'm really using a lot of apparently because a lot of that stuff comes kind of out of nowhere, kind of as a surprise even, right? Jean this time is the voice of reason. It was Blake in the previous scene, now it's Jean. We can't just rush in head on. We did it 3 times, it never worked. It's not gonna work this time either. And the plan is to take the train all the way. Because apparently that's what Weiss meant by saying that RWBY can move around freely. Weiss didn't hate me either, so I'm sure she let us through. Now, this is an actual mechanic that we mentioned before, that if you can somehow get to the real one, then things might get a little easier. If you can help the real one break out, if you can convince the real one to break out. So if the real one likes you and gives you free reign to move around the city, then you're gonna have free reign to move around the city. And yeah, we're gonna all fight. This time, we're gonna fight for Weiss. Not for freedom, not for any like vague ideas. For Weiss. Yeah, this is an oversight, I believe. Or not. I think I see Weiss's shoe here. Yeah, there's Weiss's heel inside. I thought it's an empty casket with just thorns inside, and somehow Weiss makes her way out of it. Because it kind of looks that way. The perspective makes it look that way. The perspective is kind of wonky to begin with. Very wonky, actually. Well, yeah, I think I see an outline of Weiss's heel, like here about-ish. So maybe it's not empty. Schnee Palace Station. Train tracks. Dust. Interesting that even in a dream they need to use dust. And interesting that Pyrrha can use this weapon. I don't know, but I kind of had it in my head that everybody has like a specific special weapon that only they can use. But no, like when the first time they were all airdropped to Battle Royale in the middle of a forest, they were given an arsenal to pick from, so it would make sense that everybody can use whatever weapon. They might not be proficient with it. Like if Yang grabbed Ruby's scythe, she probably wouldn't be the best scythe fighter, but she would be able to wield it and use it. And foiled again. We're almost there. Oh no, we're almost there. Oh no, we're almost there. Oh no, we're almost there. Oh no. Now this time it goes a little differently because cavalry arrives in the end, so there is a chance that maybe they're not gonna go back to square one. But the loop is again very visible. Some cool combat, props for not using CG. The sword, again, for some reason is important. And yet, this knight can wield it, I guess because it hasn't been corrupted by the thorns, by the grim. It seems like this sword is a grim repellent. Because as soon as it's gone, the thorns start overtaking the entire train. A massive roar, and somehow the mansion breaks through the space-time continuum and appears in the sky. Yang appears through the door, which means they used their last coin. Yeah! They used their last coin. Unless they found some other doors, or Yang found some other door that she went through. They used the last coin. Because RWBY doesn't have hers anymore. It was Faunus snapped out of nowhere. Huh. I wonder if they actually used the last coin, or did she use an existing door? And here comes the heroine of the episode. Blake. Changed Blake. Evolved Blake. Yeah, both of those are cat ears. There's no bow anymore. There's no hiding. She's a Faunus. She embraced it. Her legs and her hands are also much more pole-like. Yeah, there is a lot of red to her clothes and to her weapons. It used to be all black, but now there's a lot of red as well. Humans or Faunus, I'll show you which is superior and just. Is it freed Blake of Weiss's nightmares, quote unquote? Or is it Blake herself, the actual Blake that embraced the persona? Or is she playing to like take Weiss's attention so that RWBY can do whatever she needs to do? And because she knows that Weiss, this Nega Weiss, hates Faunus and hates White Fang, so she's gonna focus on Blake and RWBY is gonna have free reign. I don't know. Could be either. Mirror, mirror. One thing I forgot to mention when she was singing Mirror, Mirror, it's clearly the Japanese VA. Which is crazy. Crazy good pronunciation. Like, sure, there were some, like, very telltale signs of a Japanese person trying to speak English. Some very, like, I don't know, back of the throat sounds, right? Not quite entirely pronounced, but very good. Like, genuinely. I was genuinely taken aback when she started singing. Is it the actual Japanese VA, or did they take someone else to sing this song? But no, it's the Japanese VA. And crazy good. If all of the English in anime was of this quality, I would have no problems with English. Honestly, crazy good. Chapter 10, Mirror of Darkness. Hmm. And this is an amazing illustration. I love it. I love Blake. I love her new weapons. I love her new outfit. I adore her mask. I I love her mask. What can I say? I want her as a character in Blue Archive. We have Wakamo. She's kind of similar, I guess. Okay, that was the episode. That was episode 9 of RWBY Ice Queendom, Hyousetsu Teikoku. And all in all, thumbs up. Like, honestly, thumbs up. It seems like they are no longer stalling. The song might be just a little bit of stalling, but I understand the weight of it. Probably even more so if you're a fan of the original series and you know the original version of the song and you're a fan of it. This will hit you right in the feels, I'm willing to bet. To me, it doesn't have as much impact, but I recognize that the purpose of this song is to have impact. But yeah, we're finally not stalling. The story is kind of finally moving, finally progressing, without the fear of eventual regression. Because so far, they would, as I mentioned many a time, they would go in, arrive, fight with Weiss, lose, wake up, go back to sleep, start from scratch, fight Weiss, be defeated, go out, a constant cycle. This time it seems things are genuinely different. Things are very, very different. And they have a chance to finally fulfill their mission of waking Weiss up. How exactly are they gonna do it? I'm not sure. There are many ways they can go about it, right? Jean's sword seems very significant. The relic that either Yang or Blake has seems significant. The idea that RWBY is liked by the original Weiss and has freedom to move seems significant, that maybe RWBY alone will be able to wake Weiss up. Many ways it can go, or it can be all at once, right? Everything at once. Blake takes care of Weiss. Jean protects everybody with the sword, and meanwhile RWBY wakes up the original Weiss. Could very well go this way. Their roles could be swapped. Also possible. It could be Jean that wakes up Weiss. It could be Blake. It could be Yang. There's no like rule to it. There's not much to predict. Not much predictability. Yeah, I'm excited to see where it goes. But at the same time, we still have like 3 more episodes. 10, 11, 12. So, are we gonna deal with all of that in just episode 10? And if so, what of 11 and 12? Or are we gonna stretch it? I don't know, a pacing of this series is... maybe not is, but can be kind of wonky at times, and has a potential to be wonky. So that's something to take into account for sure. To keep in mind that it might be an issue. It has been an issue in a few episodes back. It hasn't been much of an issue in this episode, so thumbs up for that. It seems like we're finally breaking out of the cycle of almost getting there and then being defeated. This time we finally have a chance to fight and to succeed. Many things are still very much lacking explanation. That's not great, or rather, not great. If we get a satisfactory explanation, cool. If we don't, it's gonna kind of feel like an ass pull. The sword that Jean has, that's like the biggest mystery to me right now. Why is it so special? What else is there? How did they manage to bring the mansion through the time-space continuum into exactly where Ruby and Jean were fighting? How did they manage that? How are they gonna get out without a coin? Although that's not as much as an ass pull as a mystery, something to look forward to, something to fear, something to be excited for, because they're gonna have to find a way. What does feel like an ass pull is Ruby's coin just disappearing for some reason. That seems very much weird. Mm-hmm. I'm very curious to see what's the deal with Blake. Is she acting? Did she embrace her roots, so to speak? Did she just get a power up, or what's the deal there? I'm gonna be looking forward to learning that. And what else? One thing I didn't particularly much like about this episode is, although, yeah, Ruby's nightmare. I was honestly excited to see what they're gonna have to do. Are they gonna have to dive deeper into Ruby's nightmare? Is it gonna screw around with Weiss's plans? Is she gonna have to wake up? Or what are they gonna do? But it seems like she used the nightmare as a means of communicating with original Weiss, and then Jeanne put her hand to the sword, and just like that, the nightmare was gone. Ruby is back. There is still some thorn tattoo left on her hand, so that's a thing. But she snapped out of the nightmare thanks to the sword, which again brings us around to what the fuck is the deal with the sword. Mm. Yeah, overall, Ruby's nightmare felt like kind of a underused thing. It has much more potential than what was used, honestly. And I might be just a little bit, maybe not jaded, but it's like fresh on my mind, like underusing things and things that are ultimately mostly inconsequential. Because I'm just done recording an episode of Symphogear, episode 10, episode 10 of GX, I think. Yeah, and I mentioned during that video how some of the things that happened throughout the season and in episode 10 felt kind of inconsequential, like back to status quo, so where's the change? And Ruby's Nightmare does bear a little bit of a semblance to that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, overall, cool episode. Thumbs up, double thumbs up. Really did enjoy it. Probably one of the best episodes so far, honestly. Not counting the first three, because I still like the first three episodes the most. The episodes spent outside of the dream. But as far as dream episodes go, this one is probably the best so far, honestly. And CG wasn't even used in a fight with Ruby against Weiss, so another thumbs up for that. It should be the default, but I guess I can't expect too much from modern anime industry, so it's not the default. So the fact that they went the extra mile and actually animated what little was there of it by hand, good, good, good on them. Uh, yeah, I think I don't have anything more to say. So how about you? Maybe you guys have something more to say, and if so, leave a comment down below in the comments. What did you think of this episode? My reaction, my theories, stuff like that. Don't spoil me anything, please. I beg of you. I want to experience it myself entirely. If you do want to talk spoilers, Discord here in the description. Join it. Use spoiler tags in the RWBY channel, and you can talk spoilers freely because I'm not gonna be able to see them. Subscribe. Like this video if you liked it, dislike it if you disliked it, but tell me why so I can improve. Subscribe to the channel to be notified of future releases of not only RWBY Ice Queendom but also Symphogear GX, Madoka Magica, Overlord Season 4, Yofukashi no Uta, and Hataraku Maosama Season 2, and I also play some games sometimes, so might want to stay subscribed for that. Click the bell, all that jazz, you know what to do. Support the channel if you want, monetarily on Patreon or Throne. On Patreon you can get early access to non-seasonals, like Madoka, like Symphogear, and on Throne you can pitch in towards my purchase of like new gear, new camera, new lighting, stuff like that. On Patreon for $10 a month you get early access, I mentioned that, to non-seasonals, and for just $1 you get a role on the Discord and place in the credits that you're gonna see very shortly. And if you don't want to spend any money, you can still help the channel a lot by sharing the content, spreading the word, sharing my stuff, my videos on Discords, Reddits, places like that, maybe some Facebook groups or whatever. Spreading the content, spreading the awareness really does help the growth of a channel a lot. So I'm grateful if you do engage in such an activity. And now, that's gonna be it from me for today. So as always, you guys do all the good stuff, and I'm gonna see you in the next one. Cheers! And here's the credits I mentioned. You can be one of those people if only such is your desire.